I've been playing for the Boks for so long now, and you know, it becomes part of your life. So I don't think it has really sunk in yet.
Former South Africa captain Jean De Villiers retired from Test rugby 2 weeks ago with a fractured jaw. CCTV caught up with the fourth most capped player in the history of the Springboks Test rugby as he tells us about his retirement. Hello and a very warm welcome to Matchpoint here on CCTV Africa, the program that brings you African sports news, features, action and highlights from the continent and beyond. I'm Mahir Mutua. Also coming up, 3 years and growing, South Sudan bullish about football development in the country despite numerous challenges. And International Basketball Federation's venture into volatile Somalia to train officials on the sports standards. Well, let's begin with the Rugby World Cup, and over the years the tournament has seen plenty of injuries that have ended the international campaigns of many players, the latest being Jean De Villiers, South Africa's captain. The Springboks centre was ruled out of the tournament and returned home for surgery. CS Du Plessis caught up with the former national captain before he returned to the World Cup as an advisor to the team.
South Africa's national rugby team, the Springboks, are dealing with life after Jean De Villiers. The fleet-footed centre retired from international rugby after a jaw injury brought an abrupt end to his Rugby World Cup campaign. But despite being disappointed about the injury, De Villiers has accepted his fate and is looking ahead to the rest of his life after rugby.
I think even more so knowing that that my Springbok career is over. You know, that's I've been playing for the Boks for so long now, and you know, it becomes part of your life. So I don't think it has really sunk in yet. But you know, I could only look back with a lot of good memories, obviously, and also just grateful for the opportunities that I did get.
De Villiers says that although there's been a lot of criticism fired at the Springboks and their coach Heineke Meyer, he believes the men in green and gold are in a good space.
The coach always had a clear plan, and he's stuck to it, and I think we're reaping the rewards now. A difficult start to the campaign, but now suddenly we're getting a bit of momentum, and I think it's a great atmosphere at the moment, and the guys are just more determined than ever to do well.
The 34-year-old maintains the two-time world champions can win the tournament in England, even though many pundits had written them off after the shock defeat to Japan in the opening match.
I think other teams are sitting up and taking notice of the Springboks because we're playing knockout rugby. If you name sort of 5 things that you need to do to be able to win World Cups, you know, your set phases, your defence, your kicking game, your territory game, your discipline, and then being able to be good at the breakdown. You know, I think then we tick most of those boxes. Probably the one that we need to improve on is our discipline. And I think we're playing the right game at the moment. And yeah, I've got an unbelievable good feeling about this one.
Jean De Villiers may not be donning the green and gold jersey of the Springboks anymore, but what he offers them off the field is invaluable. Over 109 caps for his country. That experience is something they will cherish as they aim to win the World Cup for a 3rd time. It's something that De Villiers believes the Boks can do. CS Du Plessis, CCTV, Johannesburg.
Well, staying with rugby, the Brazilian Sevens team was recently in Nairobi for the regional tournament, the Safari Sevens. Their focus in Nairobi wasn't necessarily on the main cup, as CCTV's Sadiq Shaban now reports.
They may have passed for any other team training during the just concluded Safari Sevens rugby tournament. But for Brazil, making the trip across the continents to East Africa was engineered to get a comparative feel of the competition out of South America.
They are very competitive teams, so that's why we are here. So we know that here are very competitive. Zimbabwe, it's a very good team. Kenya too. All the teams are competitive here. So I know that we have to do our best.
The team got a dose of reality during the tournament. They lost to England Saxons but beat Zambia and Uganda on their way to ball quarters. They were not concerned about the scorelines, but rather about the experience gained.
It's very important for us, to have because we are not part of the core 7 series, so we have to go abroad and play like high-level tournaments like this one, like the Safari Sevens. So it's this kind of tournaments that will put us to a next level to be in the Olympics at a good level. So it's very important for us.
They may or may not meet any of these teams during the Olympic Games, but as a hosts, they will have a long way before rugby becomes as popular as football in Brazil.
We are not in the condition to compare with soccer or football. So we are happy that we have, and we are happy that we are going to grow after the Olympics.
For now, the team will be looking forward to Rio Olympic Games with much anticipation as they continue their build-up process towards the Games. Sadiq Shaban, CCTV, Nairobi.
Right now, shifting focus to football now, a fresh start beckons for Zimbabwe's FA, which ousted President Cuthbert Dube and his entire board for mismanagement and financial impropriety. The move was taken at an emergency meeting last weekend. Farai Mwakutuya has more.
And there is a lot of talent in this.
Cuthbert Dube has a lot in common with his beleaguered ally Sepp Blatter. The two men once wielded so much power that numerous attempts to push them out of their posts failed. But now, both men's previously impenetrable armor has been breached. A vote of no confidence saw Dube ousted last weekend in a process presided over by FIFA and CAF. Their interest an indication of the gravity of the crisis.
We couldn't go on any further in the limbo that we were in. Cuthbert Dube had, for the past maybe 3-4 months, been a lame duck president. He definitely did not have the support of the councillors, the support of the ZIFA Assembly, and the board was so fractious that it was not good for football. FIFA and CAF recognized and realized that.
Dube had drawn national condemnation for plunging Zimbabwean football to its lowest depths. Failure to make it into 27 AFCON qualifiers was followed by an unsuccessful attempt at Olympic qualification by the under-23 team before the final straw, being kicked out of the 2018 World Cup qualifiers for failing to pay a former national coach's wages. But wiping the slate clean may not be all it takes to turn things around.
I don't think it will actually mean that Zimbabwe's football is going to move from point D to C and eventually to A. No, there's still a lot of work to be done. And that's the challenge that faces Zimbabwe football at the moment, that having gotten rid of Cuthbert Dube, where to next? Who comes to take over?
That answer will be provided within the next 60 days, by which time fresh elections must be held for a new boss to take the reins over here at ZIFA House. It could be a poisoned chalice, given the problems on and off the field that Zimbabwean football is mired in at the moment, top of which is a $6 million debt, which is likely to be the main priority.
Listen, their strategy is going to be dominated possibly 80% by how to retire the $6 million debt and also how to get FIFA back on side so that Zimbabwe starts getting grants again.
The football governing body is committed to working with ZIFA on its rehabilitation, a journey that could be both long and painful, meaning local football fans may need to temper their expectations of whoever emerges as the new boss of football here. Farai Mwakutuya, CCTV, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Right, well, it's time for us to take a quick breather here on Matchpoint. There's plenty more still to come on the program, including 3 years and growing, South Sudan bullish about football development in their country despite numerous challenges. Welcome back. Now, 4 years after independence, South Sudan can boast of a vibrant football scene with its national team competing in the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, as well as the 2018 FIFA World Cup race to Russia. Africa's youngest nation feels the sport has made major strides since independence, but as Celestine Caronet reports, it continues to face a number of challenges.
The Nimratalata playground in Juba is a good spot for those who like to kick around a football after work. Its dirt field may not be much, but it's all those who play here have for now. South Sudan football is 3 years old. After independence in 2011, they joined continental body CAF and world governing body FIFA the following year.
The game moved forward. Even everybody now is amazing. How did we do that? We did that because the people of South Sudan, they love sport in general. They love football in particular.
I came before 3 years or 4 years. The football, it was still. But now for these 3 years, it's really different, totally, you know. Because I can see we have maybe 3 or 4, 5 players. They went from this league, they went to North. And even in North, they are good.
But the young football nation is navigating its fair share of challenges in a bid to build the sport.
The infrastructure is still because, you know, since we got our independence, we did not even build any stadium. But we are planning now, with the help from our government and FIFA and CAF, we are trying to put a lot of infrastructure. Now we have achieved one of the FIFA goal projects, which is the headquarters of South Sudan Football Association.
Funding is also a problem, especially in the domestic league. The FA president believes that seeing overcapacity crowd at the Juba Stadium in recent international matches will attract sponsors to invest in the sport.
The businessmen are encouraged after they see the fans of the football in South Sudan. The clubs are very good because, you know, they were existing even before we got our independence. We have 16 clubs that are playing in the Premier League, just they are needing some technical help.
This year, the sport has been buoyed by its first international victory when the country beat Equatorial Guinea in a Cup of Nations qualifier. This week, they also made their World Cup qualifying debut, drawing 1-1 with Mauritania at home, and fans can only hope they can deliver a shock result in the second leg.
As you know, the national team is still young, but they don't have a good experience before. Just 1 year, they have 1 year. So please, just see and then more concerning for our national team.
Like in many African countries, the passion for the beautiful game is quite high here in South Sudan. And even as the country continues to build the necessary infrastructure needed to develop the sport, many here hope that those involved will actually hasten that process. Celestine Caronet, CCTV, in Juba, South Sudan.
Right now, to give us more insight into football and its future in South Sudan, we're now joined live on phone by CCTV's Celestine Caronet, who joins us live from Juba. Now, Celestine, obviously, despite the weather interruption in their match, what does South Sudan's 1-1 draw against Mauritania mean for their chances at World Cup qualification?
Well, Mahia, I think for many South Sudan fans and the players and the technical bench, it just means it has kept hope alive. It means they have a fighting chance. Because they're looking at a team that is ranked 55 places below Mauritania. Going into that match, they did not stand a chance. But the 1-1 now gives them, as much as it gives Mauritania the advantage with that away goal, it gives them hope that, look, maybe we could go to Mauritania and we can pull off a surprise. They left for Mauritania today after a glitch actually in traveling. They were supposed to have left yesterday, then they couldn't get a flight, and then finally they left today. So many here are feeling that it actually means that they may stand a chance of getting into the second round. Remember, this is 3 rounds of qualifying. Only 5 teams out of possible over 50 teams competing to get those 5 slots will reach Russia 2018. But South Sudan are keeping hope alive, Mahia, and that is what that 1-1 means.
All right, thank you, Celestine. Thank you for keeping us updated there. That is Celestine Karane joining us live from Juba in South Sudan, talking to us about football and its future in the country. Now, the Chinese Super League is attracting some of Africa's top talent in their prime, and Senegalese striker Demba Ba says this is because players often make the move to a country where they feel appreciated. The 30-year-old French-born striker has in the past lamented on how African players are treated in Europe, but in China, he says he has found respect. The former Chelsea and Besiktas man, who moved to Shanghai Shenhua this year, spoke to CCTV's Wang Dong about life in the CSL.
Why CSL? You could have gone somewhere else, some of the top flight leagues.
I could have, but
and you got offers.
Yes, I had, but you know, when you don't get what you deserve, you fight for it, and at the end, when it doesn't come, you just choose to go somewhere else and experience something else, something different. And it was the same last season when I moved from Chelsea to Besiktas, and it was the same this season. Mm-hmm. You know, I had some offers, but offers not good enough, because I think I deserve more than what I've been offered. And I went where actually people respect me and respect my talent.
So money actually played a role there. In other words, being, for example, the reported $14 million deal made a difference.
It made a difference for Besiktas, definitely, because you know, I've been top scorer of the club, scoring many goals last season, and they didn't hesitate as well to sell me. Mm. So it played a big role for the team, it played a role for myself as well, and I'm happy to be here now.
A lot of big names are here, you know, Konka and some others, but from the Chinese side, any particular players that you are very much, you know, impressed with? And what about the fans? I mean, the fan base of yours?
I have been surprised by the fans, to be fair, because everywhere we played, at home you had minimum 20,000, and I was impressed because the atmosphere is good, and even away we had a lot of fans in the stadiums, and for me this is a big point, because playing in front of 2,000 or 3,000, this is disgusting. Mm. I really don't like it. But when there's many fans in the stadium, then I enjoy playing.
Many are saying that there is this kind of, shall we say, African hurricane in China right now, you know, over CSL, and perhaps more so down the line. What do you make of it?
Probably, you know, there's a lot of quality in Africa, and unfortunately we are underrated. Everywhere we go, it's all about South America.
Underrated?
Underrated,
really?
Yeah. Everywhere we go, it's all about South American and European. Well, when you go in Africa, you have the same quality.
But you got recognition in Europe as well.
No, in Europe, we are not treated the same way.
Okay.
This is football life, this is football, this is how it is. So to get the respect we deserve and the love we deserve, we come until China and we have it.
So by saying this, what kind of recognition, or what kind of treatment, if not more than European players, would you like to get or desire in China?
No, I would have loved, for example, seeing someone like Samuel Eto'o winning a Ballon d'Or, because he deserves it.
Ballon d'Or.
He had a very good career on top. He was on top. He was just flying, and I would love to see some of our African players get more credit for what they do. Mm-hmm. Like Yaya Toure, the same. Unbelievable players we have in Africa. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, we are not treated the same way and rated the same way as the others. But that's life, that's football. We just go on.
Does it have something to do, if I may, you know, with the performance and also top-notch performances at a top level? For example, World Cup, African teams are not there.
Yeah, but it's different when you talk about group performances and individual performances. It's totally different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when we play in Europe, we are not like surrounded with other Africans and not making it. That's true. That's African team. We should be better in the big competition like World Cup and stuff. But we are not, unfortunately. But individual performance, we have some terrific players.
Mm-hmm. Well, physically, you guys are right there, and as far as your expertise and talent, I believe.
Of course, we are.
Back here in China, CSL, you still have a lot of arch rivals, as I mentioned. We still have like 1/3 of the season remaining. And do you think Shenhua, maybe USA Diplomatic still has a shot? But realistically, what are your chances?
We have big chances. We have been playing very good in the last month, and we just have to keep going that way. Just keep fighting, believe in ourselves, and enjoy what we're doing, because at the end of the day, football is just having fun. It's all about having fun and winning games.
Well, in order to achieve what you desire for this season, in the remaining, time of this season, what would you do, and what should your team do?
Every game we play, we approach with the same mentality, is to win the game. After, there is a situation in the game where, okay, maybe you need a draw and you're fighting for a draw, or you're fighting not to lose, but the approach for every game is to win. Home, away, against the last of the table, against the top of the table, the approach is to win. So when we approach the games like this, we have big chances.
As limited as you have spent time here, would you recommend or encourage more African players or potential talents to come to China?
It's a good league. It's not English league, it's not German league. Everybody knows this, but it's a good league. And if you cannot be the best in the best teams in Europe, it's probably better to be the best in this league.
Time for another short break here on Match Point. Here's what's still to come. The International Basketball Federation's venture into volatile Somalia to train officials on the sport's standards. Now, for the first time since the fall of Somalia's central government, referees in the country are receiving training by the International Basketball Federation inside the Horn of Africa nation. The 5-day zonal and international referee training in the capital, Mogadishu, also has Egyptian referees participating, since the two countries do fall under the Africa Zone 5. CCTV's Abdulaziz Bilo with a report.
Two of Mogadishu's leading teams entertain fans in a thrilling basketball match. Sports is slowly catching up in the once lawless nation, following a facelift of the country's basketball courts and stadiums.
This is a case of a jungle. Look.
20 Somali referees are among the 24 participants receiving training here today. The International Basketball Federation is training Somali and Egyptian referees.
The importance of this training is to prepare Somali referees to become international referees. The last time we had a similar training was in 1990.
Happening for the first time in Somalia's soil in more than 25 years, the training hopes to improve the capacity of the Somali referees to officiate international tournaments.
Each participant or each referee has to pass a zonal referee clinic and then international referees clinic. And then we go to official exams for rules test and physical fitness test and practical test for these officials.
4 national referees from Egypt were also in the 5-day training, since Somalia and Egypt both fall under Africa Zone 5 basketball group.
This is my 5th year as a first degree in my country. I came here for the zonal referee clinic, and I am so glad with the people. The people are so generous, and this is a beautiful place.
At least 12 male teams take part in the Somali Basketball League Championship. 4 female teams also play in the local Women Basketball League. Sports is seen as a major element to counter hostility and encourage integration among residents. By hosting such a high-level training inside Somalia, the International Basketball Federation hopes to encourage sporting activities in Somalia. Abdulaziz Bilon, CCTV, Mogadishu, Somalia.
Finally, let's round things off with football. The Egyptian Super Cup match will be played on October the 15th, and this year it will mark yet another derby between giants Al Ahly and Al Zamalek. Both teams will head to the United Arab Emirates, where the game will be held, marking the first time it is played outside the country. Here is Adel Mahroui with more.
Since its establishment in 2001, the Egyptian Super Cup has always been held in the country. This year, however, the Egyptian Football Association has received an offer to hold the match in the UAE. Already the national team will be playing friendlies there, so the road was set to make Al Ahly and Al Zamalek meet outside the country.
Hosting a game between Al Ahly and Al Zamalek is hard from a security perspective. The great fear is that the ultras could show up and forcefully try to attend the game. We've seen the poor organization in the Egyptian Cup. Some fans managed to enter. So it's very complicated. Plus, holding Super Cups outside the country is not unusual. Spain and Italy have done it before.
The Egyptian Football Association rejected all claims that Egypt is incapable of organizing the match.
When we announced that the Super Cup will be in Emirates, we were severely criticized. They claimed it's because we can't hold it in Egypt. That is not true. Egypt is capable of holding anything, and we have a strong police and a strong army.
Al Ahly had some turbulences preparing for the game. They've sacked their coach Fathi Mabrouk after losing all national titles this season. Al Zamalek, on the other hand, had no distractions to prepare for the Super Cup.
For the first time in 8 years, Al Zamalek enters a final with Al Ahly without fears of losing. The players were never ready psychologically. They won the cup and broke this fear barrier. The match will be very close. There is a great incentive for Al Ahly players to win. They lost the cup from Al Zamalek with 2 goals in addition to the league.
Both teams will be very lucky to play in Abu Dhabi. Hazard bin Zayed Stadium was awarded the best stadium in the world in 2014. Moreover, fans will be allowed to attend the Super Cup, an experience Egyptian football has been missing since 2011. Adel Mahroui, CCTV, Cairo.
Well, that's it for Matchpoint this week. Remember, you can send your feedback to matchpoint@cctv.com and drop an email there. You can also visit our Facebook page, leave a comment at CCTV Africa, or stay in touch on Twitter. The handle, as always, is at CCTV News Africa. Thanks for watching. I'm Mahia Mutua. We leave you with the move of the week. This week, focusing on South Africa's Brian Habana's incredible hat-trick that equaled Jonah Lomu's Rugby World Cup try-scoring record.
A good strangle tackle, but the ball's coming out, and Brian Habana's got it, and Brian Habana has a hat-trick. Is this going to be given? This could be a moment of history, and Habana knows it. Level with Jonah Lomu for trying.